and invade Jonestown. Jones was convinced that there was some sort of threat outside of Jonestown. He claimed that because he was a prophet, he knew that they would be attacked at some point. Blakely recalled details from a few of the White Nights, one where Jones conducted the poison loyalty test, this time with the added threat that if they did not all commit mass suicide, they would be tortured by mercenaries with guns and machetes. Another time, Jones staged a sniper attack, claiming that he'd been targeted. At the latest White Night, Blakely said that her former sister-in-law, Carolyn Layton, gave sleeping pills to John Victor Stowen, Grace and Tim's son, and her own son, Kim O'Prokes, because Jones had told her everyone was going to die that night. Layton had given them sleeping pills because she didn't want to have to shoot them if they were awake. After this incident, Blakely soon left Jonestown by requesting a reassignment to the nearby Georgetown and secretly requesting her sister send her money for a plane ticket. She also had to seek out the United States Embassy in Guyana to help her escape. In 1978, as most politicians were cutting any ties that may have still held with Jones, Harvey Milk actually wrote to President Jimmy Carter in order to defend Jones against the condemning accusations, claiming that Jones was a man of the highest character, and the claims against him were apparent bald-faced lies. In the
My man. Get out of here with that bullshit. Hey Nate, how are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for joining chat. So yeah, what a sick fuck. I mean, like, dude. The reason why I get a little bit, I get angry is because I lived a long time in San Francisco. So it's like, my man, why? What, like, I just don't understand. Like, I get certain things, but like, what would make you not believe something like that? Like, what? Whatever. Glad to hear that, Nate. He's an idiot of the highest caliber. No, he is. He is, and that ticks me off. And hey, thank you so much for that subscription. Big dreams, suitable for a king. I really appreciate that. Thank you. 3 months in a row. Round of applause. Shout out to you and Nate. And they were armed too. Yo, I'm sorry, but that's just crazy. Did anyone see the new the House of Dragons thing? I haven't seen it yet, but let me know in chat if you have, if it's any good or not. It had like, for an opening, like, for the what? It was like the first episode had like 10 million viewers. I think people are curious to see what they're gonna do with it after that disastrous season 8. Like, I don't know if you guys were Game of Thrones fans. This house, we lived, and ate Game of Thrones. Like, that was like a thing every week. There were times we used to have people over. We would clear our schedules, you know, we would go to other people's houses to watch it. Yeah, it was a whole thing. We would, like, analyze it. We would rewatch the episode. Yeah, so it was really big disappointment when season 8 came out. So I don't know if anyone has seen the new season, that new thing that's out, but yeah. Oh, it crashed HBO. Dude, it had 10 million viewers. That's insane. It's going to be like him, yeah. I have hopes for the show, but after that last season, whew, that was bad. All right, moving on.
Face of so much scrutiny, Jones eventually hired the attorneys Mark Lane and Donald Freed to help defend him from the growing accusations against him, Jonestown.
Were you able to hear it? Let me know, Tori, if you were able to hear that channel point that you just redeemed. I need to get myself. I need to get a crown for my head. I need to get like a nice sword, so whenever that pops up, I'm able to just. Oh, you weren't able to hear it? Okay, let me put it. I'm still trying to see what the hell happened with it. Why when I mute one. But here, I'll do.
The King of the North!
Yeah, I definitely need to hook myself up with a crown. That'd be awesome. Hell yeah, I already have it in mind. I just need to find somewhere that does like 3D printing. And your boy will hook himself up with a crown and a sword. Hell yeah. Let's go. Shit, I'll wear that crown everywhere. Bruh. I'll wear it everywhere I go. Yeah, look at me. I'll even tip it to the side. Look at me now. Alright, moving on.
And the People's Temple. Both men were known as JFK assassination conspiracy theorists and attempted to make the case that the accusations against Jones were all part of a conspiracy from the US intelligence agency that didn't want to see him as powerful as he once had been. Jones also began negotiating with the Soviet Union in hopes of moving himself and the temple members to Russia. Jones apparently believed that Soviet Russia was the...
Tori, I like your thinking. I like your way of thinking. I'll most definitely get myself a cape. Bruh. I'll definitely do that. Woo, in a heartbeat. You're just feeding me these great ideas. Please continue. We got a crown, got a sword, we got a cape. Boom. Let's go.
Perfect country. A sentiment that the 20 million Soviet citizens who were either put to death or died because of the oppressive regime likely wouldn't have...
The high neck will be filled with, like, precious black stones. I mean, Tori knows what's up. She knows, Tori knows what's up. Tori. Username. Tori knows what's up.
Shared. Jonestown actually hosted a few delegations from the Soviet Union, and Jones had temple members begin learning Russian. As Jonestown remained in Guyana, many suspect that Jones was never serious about the move.
I apologize for assuming. One should never assume anything, and I assumed. I apologize for that.
Instead, used it as a threat to the US government, who was locked in the Cold War with the Soviet Union at the time. It was around this period that Leo J. Ryan, a California congressman, became interested in the case and decided to examine Jones and Jonestown himself. He had heard that people were trapped in Jonestown against their will, and he brought reporters and photographers with him to investigate. He called it a fact-finding mission and set out to differentiate which of the rumors about Jones were actually true.
Oh yeah, no, that shit it went all the way to the U.S. Congress. They didn't play, because this was, apparently it was already getting out of hand to the point where there had to be like government interference. That's insane.
And to dismiss those that were lies. In November 1978, Ryan and his crew, along with some worried family members of those living in Jonestown, all flew to Guyana. In his entourage were Grace and Tim Stowen, who joined Ryan in the hopes of finally getting their son back from Jones. The temple had heard of Stowen's return and banned them from ever actually entering the grounds. Yet, everyone besides the Stowens was all surprisingly welcomed to Jonestown.
Yeah. And that's the thing about cults. It resonates with so many different type of people that's why they become so famous. There's really good documentaries, obviously on YouTube, but there's some on Netflix as well. And the really big, prominent cults, yeah, they normally tend to extend to other countries, and their influence grows way more than just that own point where they are there. They expand. So it's crazy. And again, it's the words that are being used and the message that's being conveyed just, again, resonates with people, and it just stirs something in people that makes them want to follow. I find that is weirdly fascinating. It is. Not that I would want it to happen to me or want to do it, but to see it from the outside, that's crazy.
Jones actually hosted a reception for Ryan and those with him, and even allowed the television crew to tour the compound of Jonestown. The tour was led by Jones's wife, Marceline. Ryan had actually planned his trip as a rescue mission, attempting to free those who were held in Jonestown against their will. What occurred did not go according to his plan at all.
No, it did not. Yeah, Tori, I mean, yeah, okay, so we went around the world to get the people out, yeah. It's still, there's still a lot of cultures involved, like, his message did spread to a lot of other countries. It was just situated specifically in Jonestown. That's where he had like the whole thing. Again, it happens with all the cults, but yeah, there were a lot of people that heard about this, and they wanted those people out because it's a pretty horrible situation to be in.
A note was passed by Vernon Gosney to one of the journalists and was meant for Ryan, which stated that he and another temple member needed help leaving Jonestown. Once he read the message, Ryan began to collect everyone he had brought to quickly leave. He also invited anyone who wanted to escape Jonestown to come with him. Though there were defectors who wanted to leave with Ryan, and in fact, 15 managed to escape with him as he fled, Ryan was attacked with a knife by another temple member, Don Sly. Ryan managed to fight off the attack and escape from Jonestown. At the time, Jones actually allowed all of his visitors to leave, along with the 15 temple members. But their relief was short-lived. They were far from out of the woods. The escalation in extremism hit a breaking point when Ryan returned to the airport with Jonestown defectors in tow. The Port Kaituma airstrip had 2 planes waiting for Ryan and his crew to make a swift exit from the country. But just as they were about to board, they were attacked. Jones had sent his armed guards called the Red Brigade to intercept and stop Ryan and the reporters from leaving. The Red Brigade included Joe Wilson, Thomas Keiss Sr., and Ronnie Dennis, who all arrived at the airstrip on a red tractor trailer. The men opened fire on Ryan, the reporters and cameramen, and the defectors. One of the 15 defectors, Larry Layton, actually pulled out a gun and also began firing at Ryan's crew. Ryan was shot and killed, along with 4 others, including one of the temple's defectors, Patricia Parks. During the attack at the airport, Jones called a meeting of everyone in Jonestown at the main pavilion in the compound. An audio recording exists of Jones's speech. It has now become known as the death tape.
How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life. But in spite of all of that I've tried, a handful of our people with their lives have made our life impossible. There's no way to detach ourselves from what's happened today. Not only we're in a compound situation, not only are there those who have left and committed the betrayal of the century. Some have stolen children from others, and they're in pursuit right now to kill them because they stole their children. And we are sitting here waiting on a powder keg. I don't think this is what we want to do with our babies. I don't think that's what we had in mind to do with our babies. It was said by the greatest of prophets from time immemorial, no man takes my life from me, I lay my life down. So to sit here and wait for the catastrophe that's going to happen on that airplane, it's going to be a catastrophe. Almost happened here. Almost happened. The congressman was nearly killed here. But you can't steal people's children. You can't take off with people's children without expecting a violent reaction. And that's not so unfamiliar to us either. Even if we were Judeo-Christian, if we weren't communists, the world, the kingdom suffereth violence, and the violence shall take it by force. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. We've been so betrayed. We have been so terribly betrayed.
In the background of Jones's...
Ooh, jeez, dude. Okay, yeah, his eyes are... It's the eyes, Tori, and the smirk. Oh, that's what does it. It's... Yeah. Evil eyes, like you said. Very evil. You know... That was pretty chilling, Okami, and it's the way he expressed himself, the way he said it, the words he used, this tone of voice, you know, the way that he portrays some type of feeling, you know, there, and it's like it's a very icky voice, especially knowing what happens, but it's the power of words, and it's just consistently displayed in this documentary over and over again, and it's mostly every time he opens his mouth. But this one specifically is even more chilling because you can hear people agreeing with him in the back. You can actually hear people cheering. Yay! Woo! Yeah, he's speaking truth. Damn, that is fucking crazy, bro. Hey, show everything out. It's the eyes. It's like Scarface says. I've said it before. I've mostly said on the true crime on Wednesdays for the cases that we see, and it's what Scarface says to Manolo when they're sitting in the car. And they're talking about Michelle Pfeiffer. He's like, she likes me. That's what Scarface says, and Manolo's like, how do you know? He says, it's in the eyes. Well, he's driving, obviously, but you can see his eyes when he says it. He said, it's the eyes, Chico. They never lie. And it's what you say, Tori. It's the eyes. It's in the eyes. They just